Hey everybody, I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind, and this is another pop up live. We're going to work some more today on um, whatever we're going to end up calling this. It's kind of like a Arizona, Sedona, Arizona vibe to it. It's kind of got a candy corn vibe to it, all of the above. So let me get my phone on silent real quick and let's get going. So I do apologize. Video was playing on my phone earlier and I forgot to silence it. So when you stop in, let me know that you're here. Check in the chat. Today is not you don't have to be a subscriber to chat. So it kind of opens everything up. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to hang out. Welcome in, Jess. Good morning to you. Good morning. So yeah, we're just gonna sew. We're gonna sew. I want some sewing time, and what better way to do it than to hang out with friends? Welcome in, Sylvia. Glad you're here. Good morning to you. Good morning. Um, I went ahead and I counted the um, the pieces that I've got for the next row. They are almost the same size as what we've got up there. They're just a hair smaller, and I kept going back and forth as to whether or not we needed to do different sizing for each of these rows. And I think the good news is we're not going to. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same size sashing for all of the rows, and then we'll work on setting triangles and fill in the gap that way. So we're not going to have a whole bunch of extra, going into it. We're going to be able to actually enjoy the process of sewing it versus trying to do all the quilt math and all of that kind of stuff. So how are you doing this morning? What are you working on today? If you are sewing, what's going on in your row today? I'm going to take you guys over. I'm going to be at the cutting table for just a second. We're going to cut a few more strips and get a little bit more sashing done so that way we can just kind of fly through some of these and not have to stop as many times as we did yesterday. So let's go over there real quick. There we go. We're gonna do the three screens today. We're gonna do the three screens. So I went ahead and got some cut earlier. That should get me through the row that we've got going on right now. But it is now time to cut some more. I'm just gonna go ahead and get them cut. And I'm only gonna cut about maybe six more of them for right now. And we're gonna see how far it goes, and then we'll go from there. And I originally yesterday didn't start sewing any of the strips together until right about when I needed them. But I think I'm going to go back to going ahead and sewing them. I'm going to go ahead and sew them all in advance and then come back with it. Sylvia says she's fixing a mistake in her By Annie bag that she started. Fantastic. I love the look of the By Annie bags. I still have not done one. I still need to get on my game and actually get a By Annie bag and do one. I've got a couple in mind that I kind of like the look of, but I've never gotten around to doing it. So, how close are you to completing the bag? Because though my understanding is sometimes those bags can take a really long time to put together, just because there's so many steps to them. Am I wrong? You guys have a little bit more experience putting those together than I do, obviously, because I haven't done it By Annie bag yet. Oh, I need to. I've got a couple of bags that I started. They're not By Annie. They're Missouri Star Quilt Company patterns, and I have yet to finish those bags. I really need to get to it and finish those bags. Like I need to finish them. They have been sitting, waiting far long enough, and I'm gonna need to start using them soon, so I need to finish them. All right, so my raw edges are fairly straight. They're not perfectly straight, but that's okay. We will make it work. So take all this to the machine, and we're gonna sew all these up first. And I'm also going to go ahead, let me get this sashing fabric out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and put our ironing board in the way so I can come back and press when I'm ready. So I don't have to go back and forth on whether or not I can press or sew or what. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my iron on as well. Here we go. Sylvia says that this is her second by Yanny bag. It's one of the free ones. She modified the pattern where the mistake is. Pattern is kept, or pattern if kept to is easy to follow. I'm doing the free Call Me bag. Okay, cool. I can probably remember that name. And that's modifying the pattern. That is actually why I haven't finished my bag patterns or my bags that I started, is because that's what I'm doing too. I have modified the pattern because it wasn't completely what I wanted it to be, and I was adding an extra whole panel in there. I'm doing a whole bunch of extra to my bag, or my bags that I'm making, and I ran into a problem, and I just haven't gotten around to fixing it yet. You know, when we run into problems, it is so much better to go ahead and just fix it. But sometimes you just need to not fix it. Like you need to take a break and let it sit in timeout for a little bit. You know, not worry about fixing it like right off the bat. Not worry about it. So I know that my bags, they're not in timeout. I won't say that they're in timeout, but I definitely have not picked them back up. Sylvia says, exactly, right? Right? You know, it's when you run into those hiccups, you know, sometimes your brain just needs a break. Sometimes it needs a break. And that's kind of what happened with this project. With all of the brightly colored fabrics and the fact that there was yellow involved. Might have had a little bit of something to do with it, but I definitely planned something very improvisational with these fabrics originally, and yeah, it's just not. It was not in the cards. It's not in the cards. I do have another project that I need to finish as well that I found in my UFO box that I did not know I still had and had completely forgotten I had ever started. And it is also one of those, it needed to sit in timeout for a while, not because there was anything wrong, but just because my brain couldn't do it. Hi, Nanette. Good morning. She says hers does frequently as well, or hers does frequently. Oh, yeah, I don't normally like sit things in UFO piles or, you know, give them timeouts. I do have a couple of projects that I need to get to. But they're not really in timeout. They're just not exactly what I want to work on, and I need to just get off of it and just work on some of them. I think that's where my hiccup is I just need to work on them. I'm gonna take off this extra little tape here. Nanette says, "Good morning, all." Thank you, Nanette. Good morning to you. It is definitely morning here. If you guys know, I am not normally a morning person. So being awake this early is, you know, I'm normally awake by now, but being functional this early, that's the challenge. And, I'm going to be sewing, so are we really sure that I'm functional? I'm not sure. I'm debating. Yeah, that is the right side. I was having to think, guys. My brain this morning. So, I'm so proud of what I got done yesterday. And I completely forgot to take a picture of it and went to my little social group, and I had a good time. And while I was there, I was like, I want to show this off, and I forgot to take a picture of it. So I was texting my husband. I'm like, can you send me a picture of my design wall? Like, I really want to show it off. So he was kind. He sent me a picture. So I didn't even look to see who else was already live this morning. Is Danny going live this morning? Welcome in, Melanie. Glad you're here. She says, hi, Tammy and Chatters. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, this is just going to be let's see how far we can go. And jump in with any questions, guys. I will answer anything. We'll talk about almost anything. There are some topics that are off limits. The typical religion and politics, topics. Those are off limits. You can ask, but I won't answer. Unless there's a way I can answer without starting a whole, we're not starting a riot this morning. Sunday mornings are not for riots. At least not in my studio. My studio, there's no rioting. So I thought about going live last night, and I just hit exhaustion and was like, no. I cannot make it. I popped in over at William's chat while I was out. I caught him just after they got live last night. So the let me see your quilt, that was while I was out with some friends. I got in there. I think I got back before the live ended, but I just did not have 2 brain cells to put together. You ever get that socially drained? Welcome in, Linda. Well, good morning to you. Good morning. We are going to have a sunny day today. The sun is already shining here. It is blue sky, a little bit of clouds, like partly cloudy, but not bad. And then later this week, it's going to be windy. We're going to go back to the wind. I know a lot of people complain about the wind here. I personally love it, but it can be hard sometimes. It can be hard. All right. Got all of those strips sewn together. So now I'm going to set my thread in place because both of my machines tend to not set that first stitch or the very last stitch. They don't lock tight until you do that next stitch over. And I didn't do a next stitch over, so it is what it is. Well, hi, Chloe. She says, popping in for a second to say hi. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And y'all don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, please. Please, please, please. YouTube really does make a big difference on that. YouTube counts it as important. I was looking at some of the little metric things that YouTube gives me, and I'm just like, we need to work on this. We need to work on this. We need to work on that. We need to. And my hair is caught on my necklace. Okay, there we go. All right, let's press some seams. And I'm not worried about pressing these strips out. They will get pressed out when I've got the triangles sewn to them. So I'm not super worried about it. I'm just going to press the seams open so that everything is going to lay as flat as possible. That way I'm not adding a whole lot of extra bulk to it. I've thought about trying to start having music playing in the background here, but then I don't want to do sensory overload for anyone. And it might be sensory overload for me, much less for anyone watching. So that's why I haven't done it yet. Would you guys like me to start putting some music in the background when I do these pop-up sews? It'll be something gentle. It won't be my loud and proud let's headbang to the music kind of kind of music. It'll be something a little bit lower on the volume scale, and might be a little poppy, but it won't be crazy. It won't do anything crazy. But let me know if you'd like me to start putting music in the background, because I will see what I can do. I have a couple of options that I've thought about how I could do it. So I need to play with my software a little bit anyway. Not a game stopper, but I'd vote no. Okay. Fair enough. First vote wins. So no music. Okay. So if I need music, I need to put it in my ears. Okay. I've got headphones. That's what headphones are for. You guys can still hear me, and I won't yell. I have some good headphones I can use, where you guys will still be able to hear me, and where I will be able to hear the music. We could do that. We can do it that way. I'm not gonna set it up right now, so don't worry. We're not troubleshooting in the middle of a live. It's not happening. Not if I don't have to. I've not gotten to really just sit down and just sew without interruptions in a really long time. I did work. Let's see. Nanette C says, I don't care as long as it doesn't overpower your voice. Fair. Sylvia says, other people might like it. Yeah, I know. I know, like, when I go to tune in over at Danny's, she's typically got music playing in the background, but I can't always hear it. And I think if I was going to have music, I'd want to be able to hear it a little bit, maybe. I think that would be my thing. I don't know. Like, I kind of want to do like a really fast sewing day one day, where everything is already cut, everything is already ready. All I've got to do is sit down and sew. And I've not had one of those days in a while. I really kind of miss having everything prepped for me. I do have another project that is almost to the point of I can start working on it. It is a Jenny Beyer quilt pattern. And I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But I'm going to be doing it with purple colored batiks, purple and blues. So I've got almost everything cut. I need to cut the template pieces, but once the template pieces are cut, then I will start being able to put that together. And then we're almost at the point where I can start putting sparkle together. I've got so much cutting left on sparkle, but I'm getting there. All right, so these triangles, I double checked, and they are the same, about the same size as the ones that are already on the wall, and I've got the same number. So I've got 5 of the yellow top triangles and 4 of the yellow top or yellow bottomed triangles. Okay, so we're gonna put the yellow top triangles on the outside again. So it's going to lay out exactly the way that the other row laid out. Once we get all the rows done, then we're going to come back and we're going to see what we need to do to, like what we're going to do to make it all across the board, look pretty. So we'll play around with the layout and all of that. Oh, thank you, Nanette. Yeah. I think it will be pretty. So I've wanted to do this pattern, this Ginny Bayer pattern, for ages. Probably as long as this piece has been around. So probably about the same time I started this project, I've had that pattern. And I went to Paducah, and while I was in Paducah, I went to Hancock's of Paducah. They are not Hancock Fabrics. It is Hancock's of Paducah. And I found a quilt kit that I really liked the colors of. And I think it's Wilmington Batiks. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. I can look next time I'm over with all of it because I saved the papers that came with the quilt kits that I bought. And granted, the quilt kits are pretty, and I could have made the quilt that the quilt kit was designed to make, but I didn't love it. Like, I just didn't absolutely fall head over heels. I have to make that. I just loved the fabrics and figured that they would work really, really well. So I bought 2 quilt kits so that I would have enough fabric to make this other pattern. And I think I do have enough. Some of the fabric, it's going to be kind of iffy as to whether or not I've got enough, but we'll see what we have to do. Once I get the templates cut, it's not going to be that hard to put together, I don't think. The templates are to create something very similar to, if you guys have followed me and watched me put sparkle together, those little points are made with template pieces. So they're not true flying geese. They are some other angle is the best way to put it. They are some other angle. And there's those pieces in this quilt pattern as well that is some other angle to form a point. So I'm looking forward to being able to work on that. I've been working on cutting out for probably about a year now. Nanette says she's done that, bought a quilt kit to use the material for another pattern. Yes. I mean, if you love the pattern, if you love the fabrics, why not? I mean, if you love the pattern, great. But if you don't absolutely love the pattern, there's no harm in repurposing that fabric. Nobody's going to come after you. There's no police coming after you for it. It is entirely up to you. So I do love that aspect. I don't really want to, I mean, I might make the original pattern that the quilt kits were for, but obviously I will have to make it with other fabric now because I've already cut enough of the fabric up. The quilt kits actually had more fabrics than what I needed for my pattern. So I might be able to sub in a fabric here or a fabric there to make what I need work. It's really it's going to be a unique setup once I get to it. So we're going to be doing a lot of just like finishing up quilt tops soon. You know, we're doing this one to get this one out of the UFO. I've got to finish cutting sparkle so that we can actually do some assembly on sparkle. And then I'll be cutting that one so we can start assembling it. And then I've got a whole bunch of applique quilt blocks that I need to do as well. So we may do a pop-up just to work on an applique quilt block. I mean, there's so much. There's so much that, you know, I've got so many projects, guys. So many projects. And I do still need to cut my blocks for tonight for the 365 quilts. Oh. And I did come across last night when I was looking, I've got a fabric that might be perfect for the back of my 365 quilt once I get it done. It is newsprint looking fabric. So it's white and black. And then it's got red reader glasses and other red markings on it. So it's white and black with red all over kind of thing. Which really kind of keeps in that theme of that 365 quilt that I've got going with the red, white, and black. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do, but we'll see. Oh, wow. Nanette says she has blocks pre-cut for her 365. How far did you get? Like, are you just pre-cutting blocks to sit there and sew, or do you have every block pre-cut for yourself? Because that's some major cutting. That's some major fabric cutting. I really admire you if that's where we're sitting at. I'm kind of jealous. I need to pull it out and see where I'm at. I am up to March 18th, I think. So I think that's as far as I've gotten. I think that's where I'm at. I'm at 18th or something. You did that before you stopped. Oh my gosh. So you have every day's block cut? That's crazy. I'm in awe. I'm in awe. Absolute awe. That is a lot of block cutting. I might have made it further if I'd done that. If I had done that, I probably would have made it a lot further. All right, so I've got one side of all of those done. So now I'm going to do the same thing that we did last time, and on the yellow bottomed triangles, we're going to start at this end and sew down. Oh no, not all of them. Okay, gotcha. I was about to say, I'm very jealous. Welcome in, Sherry. Glad you're here. Glad you have made it in this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. We are just working more on those triangles, and I really do. Whoever said the Sedona, Arizona thing, just you got me going, because that's really what I picture when I see this now. Oh, you're into April maybe on your 365. Fantastic. So you're ahead of me. I'm only in March. I think in April is when you get to start putting the blocks together into the layout, and I definitely am not there yet. I'm not into that yet. I've got that center block done, but that's about as far as I've gotten. So we will see how far I can get. Welcome in, Cynthia. She says good morning. Good morning to you. Yeah, you guys are my early birds and my late owls. My night owls. You guys are probably shocked to see me up this early. Sherry says she's been quilting on the long arm. I am kind of jealous. I do need to get my quilt up on my frame so I can get it quilting. Oh, not all sewn. Okay, you're into April, but not all of it's sewn. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Either way, it's still impressive. It's still impressive. Just looking back at my blocks, I know how much work I put into them. So, as I look at them, I'm just going, oh my gosh, these were so much work. They're fun. They're definitely fun, and they're challenging. Challenging is worthwhile to do. All right, we got 2 more of these, and then this row will be done. aside from adding the other side of one of those bottom triangles. So I'm going to grab one of those off here in just a minute. We'll press it and we'll go ahead and sew it on to get it done in the same batch. So we're not having to cut this loose. Oh, well, we might have to cut it loose now that I think about it. Because I don't want to accidentally cut the wrong direction. So we'll do that. Pleasantly surprised that I'm awake. I'm doing okay on getting up some mornings. My night owlness might have to shift some with, you know, the meds. Quite the learning experience, right? Welcome in, Christina. She says hi to me and quilting friends. Good morning to you. Oh, well, it's not morning there, is it? It's afternoon or evening, right? But good morning from the U.S. I love the look of how your triangles are coming together. Be back in a bit. Oh, you're welcome, Nanette. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I've got so much of this sitting here. I might as well just go ahead and grab the next stack and we can start feeding it through. Or should I? Maybe I should stop. I don't know. What should we do? Keep sewing or stop? All right, let me grab that first one and get that. I have enough room now that this is long. And I make it hard for you to study when you have impromptu sessions. I can't resist hanging out. Well, that's a good and a bad problem all at the same time. I know. It's hard when you have distractions. Oh. My rotating mat likes to rotate. And it keeps wanting to rotate out from underneath me. Alright. I'm going to slide it off far enough so I can trim this bottom section off enough. I'm not worried about it being perfect. I'm just worried about it being enough so I can sew the other side of it on. Oh, you know what? Let's do this the smart way. Alright, so we're pressing the second one too. While we're at it, we're going to go ahead and press the first and the second one. And I'm not worried about pressing it all the way down to the end of the piece. I'm just needing mainly to get this top little section here. And we will completely move this out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. All right. So we're going to line our ruler up with our piece up here. And we're just continuing that line down. And now I have my first piece separated from the rest. We'll have to watch you later with sound, having lunch in a noisy place. Oh, you're fine, Christina. You are so fine. I do not mind. I completely understand. Oh, I do need to trim this other end of this one. So we're going to come up here and we are going to line up with our side. And we're going to trim off the extra. Now we have a clean line. So now I can attach the sashing to the other side of this one triangle on this set. And we're going to go ahead here in just a second. We're going to go ahead and grab the second set of triangles and see how far we can go. Because I don't know how far we'll be able to go, but we're going to see. We're going to see. And let's see. I think I stitched down far enough. We'll make sure. I gave myself some extra room, just in case. So I'm just glad to be getting this project done, and I would really love to ruler quilt this now that I'm thinking about it, because even without having seen all of the pieces together in the full layout, I kind of already have a picture in my mind of what I think this will look like quilted. So I'm kind of I've got that going on in my head as I'm putting this together. That's how you know it's a truly inspiring project, is when you're already thinking about the quilting design before you're even there. All right, so these next pieces, I've got a whole lot more of them. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the bottom triangles. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the tops. So good, we'll be able to still do the same direction. So we're going to sew our bottom triangles first, and just attaching the sashing to one side so we're not overdoing it. We're not trying to overthink anything. This is just calm, easy sewing, just making sure we're sewing a straight line. Because I obviously couldn't do that when I put these strip sets together originally. So we are just focusing on sewing a straight line. I'm hoping that I don't run out of bobbin thread, which I probably will do sometime today. So you guys will get to see me change out a bobbin again. I think I changed a bobbin yesterday, didn't I? Was that yesterday? I think it was. Maybe it was yesterday. But I will definitely run out of bobbin today, most likely, would be my guess, with sewing all of these long stretches of pieces. And I do have more bobbins already wound, so I don't have to panic about it. But yeah, I will probably back out again. This machine does not have that big of a bobbin. It's a standard size bobbin, but it definitely runs out fast. If you could get a machine that would do a lock stitch, which is what this is, the straight stitch, that had an endless bobbin, would you buy it? Would you find a way to buy it? Would that be like the be all and end all, is to never have to run out of bobbin? Because me personally, I actually don't mind running out of bobbin. It encourages me to take a break, take a deep breath, all the things. It encourages me to take that extra moment or two. I really kind of want to get back to doing this as a normal thing. Just doing pop-up sews during the week sometime. Just come hang out, sew on whatever. I just want you guys to be able to enjoy it too. So if I'm boring you at any time, let me know. Because we all have intrusive thoughts, right? We all have them. It happens to every last one of us. My intrusive thoughts is that I am boring my entire audience. So even if I'm not, clean that side of machine, the outside of the machine. What do we mean? Clean the side of the machine? Clean that side of the machine. I'm not sure I understand, Salvia. I know my machine is a little loud. I do need to probably put some oil in her. And I will do that when I get the next bobbin put in. Sounds good, yeah. Getting that, the machine with the, Oh, clean that side of the machine when I change bob. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a good reason to have a bobbin that we have to change every so often so that we do clean the machine. I didn't think about that. But there are so many people who forget to clean their machine out. And if they never had to load new thread in their bobbin and load a new bobbin into their machine, they might not ever clean that machine out. That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. Yeah, because I mean, that's it's one of the things that I kept having to teach people to do when I was doing machine service. Is I was like, you got to clean out the machine. Oh, you also got to put the presser foot down to sew. You guys have seen it here first. I didn't put the presser foot down, and here I am trying to sew, and my machine does not like me for that. Alright. So that's the bottom of the last of the bottom triangles. So now we're going to sew the top ones, and it looks like I might have enough to make it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I got more on the floor that I didn't see. We got enough. We'll have enough to do this before I even have to do the next set. So we'll see how far I get, how far this goes, and then we'll see how I'm doing for the next set of strips. Good morning, Judy. Good morning to you. How are you this morning? I am awake. I will put it that way. I am awake. That's as bad as far as we're going. And I'm touching fabric and I'm touching needle and thread to fabric. So I'm doing a lot better. I'm touching it all. I'm playing with it all. I'm not going to complain about it. Not one bit. All right. We got 3 more after this one. So that's not too bad. And then we will do the same thing we did last time. We'll come back to the beginning of this stretch, these size triangles. We'll get the first one and we will trim it up a little bit, and we will put a strip on the opposite side of it so it's ready to go, and then we'll see where we're at. See if I think I have enough to do any more. Because if we got enough to do more, we'll go ahead and do more while we're here. And we'll just keep going. And we'll just keep going. Now that we've kind of got a system set up to it, I think it's going to work well. I've been thinking about things I want to do when we move my studio, because I still don't know where we're moving, so that's still way up in the air. There's no more answers than what I had even 2 weeks ago. Like there's just no answers. We're gonna call this upcoming week, and hopefully there will be some kind of answer on one piece. But if there's not, then we're still sitting there looking. Judy says she's doing good. She did a little bit more long arming while the dogs are out. Now she's putting the last border on the crown quilt and then go and finish long arming. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I'm looking forward to being able to get back on the quilter, or get back on the quilting. I've gotten a total of 5 projects done. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got 5 projects that I've gotten done since I started getting that stack of quilts pulled out. And I got one more, put over there, so I just need to press and get it basted to start it on the frame, and then get it on the frame and start quilting it. And it'll probably take me a day or 2 to quilt it. I wish I could do more on it, wish I could do a specific design or something, but I'm not going to be able to manage that. But I've been thinking about what I want in my new studio setup. And so I'm thinking about behind me, instead of having shelves, if I can, depending on what it ends up looking like. I may end up having just my design wall behind me. And I do kind of want like multiple design walls. So I want one that's, of course, affixed to the wall, my normal design wall kind of setup. Oh, we got tons, guys. Get part of another set done. So we're gonna pull these up real quick. And we're gonna get to the other set, or to the bottom of there we go. I found the start of the next set. But I'm going to I'm going to do the one against the wall, and then I want like a couple to put in front of it. So as I'm working on multiple different projects, I can swap things out. So I'm not sitting there with just one project on the wall at all times. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I kind of want to be able to swap out projects without having to take things down. So like one right now, if I had that set up, I would have one that's set up working on land that I love. I would have one set up to work on this project. There would be one set up for 365. There'd probably be one for Sparkle as well right now. So four different design walls maybe. Something along those lines. I would love to do something like that. Or like I have portable design walls in front of the actual design wall. So I can just kind of change as I go and don't have to get stuck on one particular project. All right. Get that out of the way. I'm going to have to turn this fan on, guys. Hang on just a second. Okay. Had to talk to my assistant. My Amazon assistant. Get her to do what I want her to do. So I don't have to go pick up my phone and go click all buttons and all that kind of mess. All right. So that one is trimmed. Let me trim the next one, and then we'll get that strip attached to the opposite side of it. And there we go. So now the first set of strips is no longer attached at all because I've now trimmed them apart. Welcome in, Teresa. She says, good afternoon. I made it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm glad to have you here. Very glad to have you here. We are working more on, I kind of want to call this Sedona Sunrise, but then I think that name's probably already taken. So I don't want to call it Sedona Sunrise. I'm not sure what we're going to call this yet. We're working on names for this project. It's not like I can kit it up or anything like that. These fabrics are really old at this point. They're not vintage. They're not that old. They're not, actual like 1930s prints or anything. They are much younger than that, but they are still old enough that my child was not old enough to buy it on his own. We're just going to put it that way. All right. So I got a stack, and I'm just going to set the stack off to the side over here, and we'll come press and then sew here in just a little bit. And we're going to take this one that already has the sashing sewn to one side, and we're going to go ahead and sew it to the other. And then we're going to grab that next stack and see what we're dealing with the next stack, and we'll get started on it. I think we'll run out before I could finish it. I don't know that I have enough sashing already sewn together to finish the whole thing, but we can at least get it started. And then I'll cut more sashing. Because again, this is all the brown I have, so I did not want to overcut. I wanted to cut just what I needed and then figure it out from there. All right. So the next stack, all right, so the bottom triangles, we've got 2, 4, 6, 7. And then the tops, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got an equal number. So I'm going to toss out one of the triangles for right now. So we'll have 7 of the bottoms and we'll have 6 of the tops. So that way we continue this kind of theme that we've got going on for the moment. And if I need to add that one back in later, we'll add it back in. We will find a place for it because I still have the wonky ones too. The wonky ones we've not done anything with the wonky ones yet. The ones that just don't have a match to them. We haven't done anything with them yet. So we're just trying to use up the last of this brown sashing that I've already sewn together. And then we will go from there. So I kind of was dreaming about this project last night. I really, really did want to get back up and just come back in here and start working on it. My body said no, but my brain was all, yes, let's go. So I listened to my body instead of my brain. I know that's the rough part. And guys, as you come into the channel, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. YouTube really does count that, and it makes a huge difference in how my stats look as far as YouTube is concerned. And it is just one little button. If you don't want to hit the thumbs up, that's fine. Please hit the thumbs down twice. I'm just kidding. Just go ahead and hit the thumbs down. I don't mind. It's not going to hurt my feelings. YouTube counts it as engagement, and that's what I count it as too. So whichever one you want to hit is fine with me. I do not mind. And today is open chat, so you do not have to be a subscriber in order to chat. So yeah. You don't have to be drinking the water to chat today. If you do like the content, if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. And then you can turn on all notifications and you'll get notifications for everything that I put out, all the content I put out. The majority of my content is my 3 weekly lives, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And then I'm having pop-up lives this weekend. We'll probably have some next weekend. We're just going to work on it. No, it's not YouTube doesn't care about your feelings, Cynthia, but good question. She says, so you were saying YouTube doesn't care about our feelings? No. Well, okay, the entity YouTube, no. They probably really don't. YouTube just cares about your mouse clicks. If you were, or your taps, or whatever. If you click it with your mouse, or you tap it with your finger, whatever one turns it a different color or lights it up or whatever it is that it does on your side, then YouTube cares about that. YouTube wants you to turn the light on. So it is turning the light on. Something like that. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. All right. These triangles, because they're smaller, they're going so much faster. So if we end up needing to fill in, we'll definitely do some filling in. We will figure it out. All right. And I'm honestly not caring where these seams end up being because I pressed them open. So they're going to lay pretty flat no matter which way I go. So, yay. All All right, last one of the bottom ones for this set. And then we get to start on the top triangles. And we will use those wonkies to fill in somehow. I don't know how yet, but we will do something. All right, I will probably run out before I get to the end of these. Just saying. Just saying. All right. I need to set up one of my ironing boards, my real ironing boards versus my little rotating Martelli to do all this, but I didn't think about it enough in advance of starting the line today. Teresa says, I'm using fabric and blocks I bought in 2013, 2014, and 2017. Okay, so we're talking about a multi-generational quilt. not multi-generational, I know, but that's hilarious. I love it. So the brown fabric came from the backing to a quilt that I did for one of my stepdaughters that I helped raise. And that was in 2014 or 2015. The original project fabric, all these oranges and all of that, that was probably 2012, 2013. Something along those lines. And I thought it was a jelly roll strip, but I don't think it is now. Like I've sewn some of this together in ways that I don't think I would have with a jelly roll back in the day, and some of it may be too big. So I don't know that it was a jelly roll strip, but it is what it is. Welcome in, Giovanna. She says, good evening, everyone. Well, we're in morning still. Just barely. Good evening to you, though. How are you? I'm glad you're here. So glad you're here. Missed you. Missed you lots. Lots and lots and lots. I don't know when all this fabric is from. I don't have pictures from buying this fabric. And, that's kind of sad. I guess I should start taking pictures of every fabric I buy as I buy it so that I have a picture record somewhere. I do have that for some projects, but not for this one. This is definitely not one of those projects. I kind of feel, well, you know what? I did come across my Paducah paperwork the other day. So I guess I could look in my Paducah class list because I think I know when I kind of pulled fabric to do. I think I know what this was. Maybe this was supposed to be my improv piece and I chose different fabrics. I think I brought 2 different strip sets and chose one instead of the other, or I came home and put this together planning to do this with another project. I think that's what it was. So I came home from Paducah all inspired and then never got it off the ground. Welcome to my lack of motivation back then. I didn't really know what to do. Tammy, you could keep your receipt. Possibly, but I've bought fabric in so many different places, it probably wouldn't work. Welcome in, Jackie. Good morning to you. Giovanna, aw, thank you. She says that she missed me too. You're so sweet. So very, very sweet. I think this, I also get gifted a lot of fabric, guys. So it's possible that I could have been gifted some fabric too and not even know. The tumbling blocks quilt that's on a lot of my headers. And then, of course, is my thumbnail for this pop-up because I started it without going through YouTube first. My thumbnail for this is that tumbling blocks quilt that I made. And those were all 100% gifted to me. I did not buy any of the fabrics for the center of that quilt. The borders I did buy. because I did not have enough fabric in my stash that worked well with it. So that's also the kind of time frame where I kind of fell in love with Jenny Beyer and her fabrics and her patterns. So maybe I'm just in the Jenny Beyer mood, because I do have that one to do. All right, we're going to go back to the beginning of this strip set. There we go. And let me put my pressing board up here. I'll move that out of the way. That. And let's get these pressed and get this top piece trimmed off so I can put the opposite side sashing on. So I might be pushing into it a little bit when I lay my iron down, guys, but I am definitely not ironing the seam. I am pressing it. So I'm not shoving it around or moving it. I'll make sure this is flat right here. It wanted to kink up a little bit. One of my cats threw up on the tabletop where I was working. Oh no! No more cats in the sewing room, right? That would be my luck. That would be my luck, Jackie. I cannot. I used to have cats, but I've gotten to the point where I can't now. Like something about having a cat just does not jive with me now. And my husband is not a cat person either. Oh, you're fine, Giovanna. She said sorry. She was distracted by her daughter. No worries. What am I making? I am taking strip sets, these bright yellows into orange, into brown, into black. I'm taking those, and we are going to make a different project. So it is kind of like a UFO, and we're figuring it out as we go. There is no requirement on this project for it to be anything specific. So we are just putting it together until something comes together. Giovanna has 2 cats. Oh, fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like cats. I just don't think I can own them anymore. I think I'm over having teenagers in the house is what it is, maybe. And I'd much rather have the toddler that loves you unconditionally. I think that's what it is. Because cats, you're not their owner. They're your own. They're your master. Dogs are always happy to see you, usually. Or they're completely oblivious, but they're just being goofy, I guess. Yeah, right, Giovanna. She says the project I love. Yep. This is kind of going back to my roots a little bit. Giovanna says that she's listening while she's working, or Sherry says she's listening while she's working. Oh, no worries. No worries at all. So yeah, this is very improvisational. The original piece that I think I was going to make with it, I could have been doing a bargello, because I sewed the rows together to make a bargello, like the bargello tube that you start with. However, I didn't press them very well, so you are property of the cat, right? You are not your own. You are the cat's property. I just wasn't in love with the idea of a bargello out of these. I could have, but I just wasn't in love with it. And because this has been moved so many times and thrown into project bags and drawers and shoved around all over the place, there was no way that this was going to come out unscathed. And I would have to rip that seam anyway to press everything flat before I re-sewed that seam to then sew it, then sew it into a tube and all of that, like so much to it. And I've got less than a row or less than a strip, so I don't have enough to do an entire another set, so we're not going to worry about it. Why is there we go. My needle didn't want to stay up, guys. My needle was having a crisis. But yeah, I just wasn't in love with the Bargello idea with this. I probably was okay with it back when I started it, but I don't know. I wasn't in love with it. And it makes it hard to work on a project when you just can't fall back in love with it. And so I've held on to this project for years. I was possibly going to do an improv piece making it look like fire. And that was the original. Like, I know that there was something along those lines. That was my original idea. My original brainchild of this project. And I just haven't gotten the inspiration to get back to that project. So I think it was time to just re-requisition it for other things. Giovanna says she's had her older cat on her in bed all day, and as soon as she goes to potty, she is behind me. Right? All right, we are going to go all the way to the cutting mat table. Cynthia says she's loving the results so far. Well, the fun thing is, once we get all of these pressed and trimmed up, then we can sew them together in the rows, and we can start attaching them up to the wall and see how they look compared to the other ones we already got. So let me get my caffeine in me, because we got to have the caffeine. We got to has it. All right. And we're going to pull up the cutting mat, or the rotating pressing mat. I don't need it to rotate while I'm pressing, but I haven't found a good option. No good options here. All right. So the first part of this is pressed because I had to press it for trimming that other end. So I'm just going to keep moving it down a little bit at a time. And we're just going to press as we go. And I apologize, I do not try to make anyone sick. I know the mat rotates as I move things, and there's not much I can do about it. If I put this mat directly down, or this pressing mat directly down on my cutting mat below, the heat will go through it, and I do not have one of those wool mats. Well, funny you should ask, Giovanna. Her question, guys, is, am I going to make a hexagon design? That was the original idea. That's where I started with. And because this is the last of this fabric, I do not have any more of it. I don't think it was going to work. Like, I could have put maybe like half hexies everywhere. But I really didn't have enough to do it properly and make it look good. I played with 4 or 5 different layouts on the kitchen floor because, kitchen floor is linoleum, so I can move things around without anything sticking to anything, and no dog hair and all of that kind of thing. But I could not fall in love with any of the layouts I tried. And I tried quite a few. I had probably about 3 of them, and I did take pictures as I went. I've already deleted the pictures because I could not stand it. Like, it was an eyesore. So, if you don't love a project and you can't stand looking at it, you're not going to work on it. So I didn't want to trash the project. So therefore, nope, we are not going to do the hexagons with it. We're not going to do hexagons. It is going to be triangles. It is going to say the triangles. So when I get back to where you guys can see the design wall, Giovanna, you'll be able to see what we've got going so far with it. Now, it was kind of what I came up with yesterday, is doing the triangles and the sashing to put it all together and give it some movement. No, not even a star. That would have been good too. That would have been a good idea too. But I don't know that I could have made a big enough quilt with it. All of these strip sets are different sizes. So the strip set that I've got right now in front of me is a little bit bigger or smaller. I think this one's a smaller one. It's bigger or smaller than the next strip set that I've got. And the largest one that I've got on the wall is about 14 inches. And the last one that we have is like 4.5 inches. So it's a huge, huge size difference between the different strip sets. And I don't know if I did that intentionally when I did the strip sets or how I was going to make that work. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what was going to happen with it. Everybody was saying yesterday that these kind of they end up looking like mountains, Giovanna, if that gives you any kind of clue. It's kind of going in that kind of layout and mindset. It's kind of what we're going to end up with. So we're going to see how it goes. Kind of a chevron, maybe. Not really. Melanie says, sorry, not chatting much, but I was finishing a quilt on my cutie frame. Awesome. Nothing pretty, just jumbo meandering. Going to give Ian some love. Let's talk to you later. Oh, you're welcome, Melanie. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, I knew other people were going to go live today too, so I knew I wasn't going to be the only one. And of course, I'll be back tonight as well, so I'm going to be live for probably a couple hours, and we'll call it quits again. That's probably about all I can handle anyway. So we'll do a couple hours, call it quits, and then I might even be live Monday, tomorrow. So, we'll see how I'm doing as far as getting all this stuff done, because I really do I just need the motivation to get these projects worked on, and I have not been having that motivation lately. So I've been stalling myself out. So this is motivation to work on it, because then I can show you guys what I'm working on, as well as working on it at the same time. So once I get this strip set trimmed, we'll go ahead, or pressed, we'll go ahead and trim it. And then we'll do press and trim on the next one, and then press and trim on the last one that I've got sewn. So we'll have 3 strip sets ready to go. It's going to be so exciting to see these coming together. And I think because we've got, so we start at 10:30, so we got till 12:30. Okay, maybe I'll have time. We'll see. We can at least lay them up there. Welcome in, Shelly. She says, looking in the background with my seam ripper. Oh my goodness. You can keep that seam ripper right over there. I will let you, absolutely. If not, I've got more things that you can seam rip if you want them. I don't mind sharing. Oh. All right. That is that strip set. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to take and, oh, I pressed the foot pedal on my sewing machine, guys. Just setting my pressing board down. I pressed the foot pedal. I didn't mean to do it. All right. So the other day when I was sewing at one of my local sewing groups, my dog rolls over and he presses the foot pedal to my sewing machine. I said, well, okay, guys, Kylie has now sewn. Are we going to charge him dues? And they all just kind of laughed. Are we going to charge the dog for sewing? Shelly says she's a professional seam ripper. Oh. Oh my goodness. So, dare I ask what you are having to seam rip the stitches out of? What project has gotten the boot? All right. So, we're just going to trim the tops first. We'll come back and trim the bottoms here in just a second as well. Good morning, Gladys. Glad you're here. So yeah, I was asking everybody if we needed to charge my dog dues for the quilt group in order to to get him to pay his way in, since he was going to now start sewing for me. They never gave me an answer. I guess I should go ask them again. You know, hey, is he gonna owe dues? Because if he does, I need to save up to be able to pay his dues for him, because he's a minor. He does not have a driver's license. He is under the age of 16. He's only 6. He might be wiser than 6, but he's only 6. Oh. What are you up to this morning, Gladys? I'm glad to see you in the chat. I have not been catching anybody's lives lately. So I'm just kind of been off in my own little world. Just working on getting quilts quilted and trying to get projects like this off of my plate. So if you guys are not seeing what I'm doing, what I am doing is I'm lining my ruler edge up with the edge of my candy corn piece. And I am just trimming the sashing at that point. So I have a clean sewing line for the next row of sewing. Shirley says she's been quilting. She doesn't like how it turned out. So she has one row to rip out, but it goes over itself, so it's taking longer than I want. Oh my gosh, I totally understand that. So one of the projects that I recently started on, for some reason, this changes direction. Okay, this changes direction. All right, just making sure I know what I'm doing. Because I have the bottom triangles and the top triangles all in one pile. Okay. So I started quilting on a quilt, and I realized maybe about the first 300 or 400 stitches in that I overdid how much stitching I was going to be doing. And I weighed the pros and cons of ripping out that 300 to 400 stitches or just quilting the whole border. Spoiler alert, I continued and quilted the whole border that way. Gladys is getting ready to quilt on her Bernina 570 QE. Awesome. Sherry says life gets busy, Tammy. Yes, it does. Life gets very, very busy. I have been trying just to manage the regular life stuff, not to mention all of the non-regular life stuff. All the kinds of things that you want to do with your life that, you might not have time to do normally. I'm just trying to manage the make sure I eat dinner. That's kind of been a hard one for me. Making sure I eat dinner. Now, I did realize that this is occasionally trimming off a little bit of the sashing on the bottom pieces of my strips, but I'm not super worried about that. When I did the first strip set, that got trimmed off anyway, so I'm not super worried about it. I am more worried about this top edge because I do want that top edge to go the whole distance. So when you are sewing at an angle like this and you're leaving that extra space, just keep in mind you may lose it one way or the other, and just decide which way you don't mind losing it on. All right. So this ruler is not big enough, so I'm going to have to pull out my 24-inch ruler, but that's okay. That's what we did yesterday. So let me get these others out of my way so they are not in my way. And we are going to reattach our little friendly helper. Let's see, Judy is heading over to watch Ian. If you're still here when I'm done, I'll be back. If not, catch you tonight. Oh, fantastic, Judy. Thank you. Gladys says she started it, just takes time with the walking foot stitch in the ditch. Oh yeah, it absolutely does. Walking foot quilting is one of the slowest methods of quilting. It's probably one of the most precise, but it is still one of the slowest methods. As far as when it comes to machine quilting, we'll caveat it with that. When it comes to machine quilting, it's a little slow. All right, so one thing that I'm doing is I have a 60-degree line here on my ruler, and that's what these triangles are cut with. They are cut with 60-degree. They were cut within a 60-degree ruler. So I'm lining that 60-degree line up with the edge of my block, and we are going to just trim off this wavy bottom edge because it's a mess. It's a verified mess. And then we're gonna set this out of the way, and we're gonna come to the next one, and we're just gonna rinse and repeat. Oh, you're having a hard time hearing me. Okay, good call. Thank you for letting me know. Let me know if that is helping any. I did move the microphone closer to me. And let me see, there's my mouse. Let me make another adjustment as well. That's as far up as it will let me go on there. And let's see if that helps any as well. Let me know. Let me know, Gladys, if that helps. I do tend to forget where my microphone is sometimes. So being reminded, if you are having trouble hearing me, does help a lot. Normally, I do have closed captions turned on. I don't know if because I started the live from my software and not directly from YouTube, whether or not closed captions are working. If somebody can test that for me, I would love to know if I'm losing closed captions because of the way I did this. Giovanna says that she's hearing me okay. All right. That works. And it is much better, says Sherry. Okay, good. Good deal. So I just got to keep the microphone close to me. The microphone loves me. The microphone wants to hear me. All right. There we go. We're going to move this over. And when I'm cutting like this, I am looking down. So forgetting to project is a real problem. So I'm glad that you guys were letting me know. I do not ever take offense to being told that my video for whatever reason is not accessible, because then it gives me a reason or a way to make it accessible. Okay, closed captioning is off. Okay. Gladys says that is better. Have my laptop on 96 for volume. Okay, yeah, so I'll do two things in the future. I won't start lives without going through YouTube directly first, because once I start the live, I cannot change the closed caption settings. So if my software is not turning closed captions on, I need to go directly through YouTube, because that is an accessibility feature I do intend to use all of the time. So if my software is not going to do it for me, I have to do it manually, and that's okay. I don't mind doing that, but I needed to know that. So I'm glad you guys have helped me out with that. Because, yeah, they may not also have the chat replay turned on, because it came through my software. So that may also be another feature that isn't accessible because I started it in my software versus starting it on YouTube. So we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. I'll look at it this afternoon. And I'm only going to go for about another 30 minutes, I think. I think I'm going to stick to keeping it 2 hours for these pop-ups and not going excessively long, so nobody feels like they have to be here for it. Okay, so here's where my next problem is. This block, if I had it the direction I had it, I couldn't line up my 60-degree line. and be able to make sure that I was cutting the right angle off, because I don't want to just randomly cut it following whatever I've got down here, because it may not line up where I need it to be. So yeah, we're adjusting it. We're adjusting it. All right. And these are my top triangles. The ones with the yellow all the way at the top. Those are my top triangles. So they're going all the way away from me because I only have the one set of 60-degree lines on this ruler. So they put the 60 and 45-degree lines all the way down here. That is the 24-inch area of the ruler. So like 1 and 2 and all of that are now closer to me, further away from the camera. So yeah, that's the way that this ruler is set up, but it's the only long ruler like this that I have. I really wish that they, Giovanna says, I was wondering, what were you wondering? What did I miss? What were you wondering? So I need another 24-inch ruler, but it's not in my budget right now to get one. You guys will know when I'm able to get YouTube to fully monetize everything for me, because I will come up with a 24-inch ruler that I want. Because I do kind of want to stick with the Creative Grids because I'm getting used to them. And they're not the most slip proof. I mean, they're fairly slip proof, but I can see it. Oh, about the angle? Yeah. Yeah, these are 60-degree angles. So my Creative Grids, this ruler right here from Creative Grids, it is a 3.5 by 12.5. It also has the little holes for you to make circles and all of that with it. It's really a great ruler overall, but it's just too short. It's just way too short. So this time size does matter, because these blocks are bigger than that ruler. So that's when size matters. You got to have a bigger ruler to do the longer lengths. And although I would love like one of Fallon's Quilter Slide Lock 24-inch rulers, I really do need the ones with the lines as my first one. Quilter Selector Awesome, says Shelly. I can't see through them. That's why I don't get them. With my pink glasses, which I have grown so accustomed to that I can't go away from them now. I cannot physically see through the Quilter Select rulers and be able to see what I'm cutting. So they're kind of dangerous for me. Don't you put some tape on the ruler marking the 60-degree angle? Oh, I can see that. Like that I can see. But I would have to like put 60-degree tape on this. And there's not so I don't want to screw it up by accident, because I could just see that I would do something like that. I just don't know. I think it's a brain challenge, because I can't get myself past if I mark it or something. Welcome in, Laura. If I mark it instead of somebody else marking it for me, then I've probably marked it wrong. Does that make sense? I mean, if Quilter Select could make their rulers as clear as Creative Grids and still be just as sticky, or still be just as like stable, I would totally go for them. But I can't see through them. I have looked at them and tried, seriously tried to talk myself into getting a Quilter Select. But the thing that I keep coming back to is that I just physically cannot see through that ruler. So everybody who's got one, I applaud you for being able to use it. I am not so lucky to be able to use it. All right, so this, I can't go all the way to the end because of where the 60-degree is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut what I can. and trim away the extra that I can. And I'm actually going to move it over to move it away from all the trim offs. So I have a straight edge. And we're going to use a straight edge to trim this other side. Now I could have pre-trimmed earlier before I added the second piece, but nah. Didn't bother. Okay. So let's give you guys a sneak preview of what we've got going on. All right, so that's row 1 that we did yesterday. Shelly says it does take some getting used to the Quilter Select. Yeah, that's my problem. Laura says I have a few Quilter Select rulers and have the same problem. I use Creative Grids. I can see the lines better. See, that's my thing. I love my Creative Grids because I can see what I'm doing. If I can't see it, I can't use it. All right, so I am going to go, I guess we're going to go right below. But just remember, this is not our final layout. We will lay this out appropriately. We're just going to do rows at the moment. Okay, that is one of those. That's the bottom. Okay, I did have a top on top. Okay, my bad, guys. My bad. I had the correct one, and I was grabbing the wrong one. All right. And ignore the fact that I can't line these up straight because I'm standing at an angle. All right. So I don't know if you guys can tell, these triangles are a lot smaller than those. So Becca, review a ruler like Quilter Select from So Yeah, but different color. Yeah, see, I can't see through the So Yeah ones either. Because the So Yeahs have that color all the way through. I can't see through it. Oh, PT is rough, Laura. I'm so sorry. PT is necessary, but I understand it being rough. All right, let's see. And I don't remember how many of these I had, but I'm going to be more of these than there were of the other. All right, I'm going to start the next part of that same row down here. Yes, right? Giovanna, she says, keep it up, Laura. It'll get better. Yeah, it will. It will. PT encourages your body to work hard when your body really doesn't want to work hard. So it's one of those necessities. It's one of those rough parts of life. We'll go with that. Okay, somehow I have an extra triangle. Or we're missing one. Because I should have another bottom one. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how many we've got. It's turned out pretty. I really like it. Yes, thank you, Sherry. Absolutely. Yeah, I saw Becca's review on like those different rulers and such. So yeah, when she was doing the So Yeah ruler, is this the right one? Oh, that, okay. So it was just hanging out. I just didn't cut it. So yeah, that's where I saw the So Yeah ruler. And I'm just not, I need to be able to see all the way through the ruler, and I just don't see being able to see through those rulers. I can't see through Fallon's Quilter Select ruler very well. It's a fantastic ruler, but with it being that neon green or yellowish color or whatever, it glows in certain light, which is fantastic, but, or the edge of it glows, but it is just, it's just too much. Just too much. All right. So your vote, do you want me to go ahead and sew this row and we'll hold off on the other? Or do you guys want me to press and trim the other rows? I'll let you guys decide. Which one am I doing? Am I sewing or am I pressing? Sewing or pressing and trimming. Let's put it that way. And that top row up there is about 72 inches long. These others will probably be about there too. Sylvie says, okay, I thought maybe a color issue. Kind of, yeah. It kind of is a color issue. Welcome in, Lori. Glad you're here. Glad you made it. So the debate is, am I going to sew these bottom 2 rows, or am I going to press and trim the other blocks that I've got prepped? Cynthia says, I love what you have on the wall. Thank you. Giovanna says press and trim. Okay. That's the first vote, so we'll go with press and trim. All right. So I will say this. Let me grab you guys over here so you guys can see. All right. So this is my Creative Grids ruler. It's got black and white markings. The black markings are your line markings. The white are your whole inch. Your black are your 1/2 inch. So it's a reversible ruler, and you do have to remember that. And that's a challenge when you come to a ruler set, that you have a reversible ruler with reversible sets. Taking a break from the melt off in the backyard, says Lori. Yes. I could, but I'd have to have the money to pay for it too. And that's the other problem, is my budget is slim at the moment. So I just can't go and invest a whole bunch right now. So this is one of my nifty Notions rulers. This is what I was originally using before I got Creative Grids. And I'm going to put it on this yellow background so you guys can really see it. And you guys can see my ceiling light. This is my 60-degree triangle ruler from Nifty Notions. It has pink and green markings, guys. So let's see if I can get it close enough so you guys can see the pink. I don't know if you guys can see the pink, but there's pink and green markings on here. So the likelihood that you're going to find a pink or green fabric that identically match this, it's possible, but it's not as likely as having black or white fabric. So the pink and green really do stand out when you're looking at fabric. So as I put this on top of fabric, sometimes the pink will go kind of missing, especially up against a red, orange, or yellow fabric. And then the green will go missing up against a darker fabric like a black or a brown or something like that. So one or the other may go missing, but you have a backup set of markings on these rulers. This is the 60-degree. The 24-inch ruler that I've been using is also Nifty Notions. The inch markings are in green. The 1/2 inch markings are in green. And the 1/4 inch markings are in pink. So you don't have a lot of extra markings on these rulers. They are kind of bare bones. But one thing that I do love about them, and let me see if I can lift this up. One of the things that I love about them is at the junction where the inch markings meet, if you can see that little circle there, there's a circle at every single intersection. So as you're measuring your fabric, you can look in between the circles and make sure your fabric is exactly where you need it to be. Creative Grids doesn't do that. If Creative Grids would give you the circles in the center between your measurements, Creative Grids would have me completely sold on every single product that they make that has it. But when you're looking at a Creative Grids ruler, there's no circles in amongst the lines. So you're kind of having to guess a little bit to see if your fabric is exactly where you need it to be. So I don't love that. I really don't. But Creative Grids will hold on to the fabric and not slip a whole lot. It does slip. So like this is literally slipping against my fabric, but it slips a lot less than my Nifty Notions. I mean, I've barely got one finger on it. This, I'm having to with one finger, I can't move it super easy. I have to use more pressure. So it's not the greatest thing in the world. I know that there's other rulers out there that do a fantastic job in not moving, but I'm missing that visibility that I fell in love with Nifty Notions. So, it's out there. There's something out there that will match what I need eventually. It's just not there yet. And I have a couple of ideas of things I may try. So you guys may see a few things from me soon, as I get into that world, because I need rulers that match what I need it to be able to do, and I don't have a ruler yet that does that. So we will see. We shall see what we can do. All right, so let's get some pressing done. So this is my next strip set that's also large. I don't know what size it is exactly, but this may actually be the next row above that first row that we put in there. Invent one, says Giovanna. See, that's kind of along the lines of what I'm thinking. Nifty Notions is no longer made. I don't know what happened to the company. I don't know if they went under, if they're made by somebody else now. Like, I went to look for Nifty Notions rulers, and I'm just not finding them anywhere. I love the markings. I just wish they would grip. And I put Invisigrip on the back of some of my Nifty Notions rulers, including that 24-inch ruler you're seeing me use. And while the Invisigrip is helping, it's still not doing a fantastic job. It's just not doing everything I need it to do. So, Quilter Select and Grapevines think alike, right? So the Creative Grids does grip better than Nifty Notions, but it's still not there. There's still better products out there, like Quilter Select, for example, that grip fantastically. But I can't afford to go into 2 different sets of rulers and have duplicates so I can just decide which ruler I want on which day. I need a ruler that's going to work night, day, and, in between. Like, doesn't matter what time of day it is. I'm always going to be able to see the ruler, all of that. I need something like that that's going to grip as well. I just haven't found it. I just have not found it. Nobody else has made it yet. And I don't know why there's such a struggle to make it. I don't know. But I would love to, if there's somebody out there who has, the skill set for making rulers that wants to, partner with me on my design for the rulers, I would, we need to talk. Just saying, we need to talk. I don't mind designing them if you will, cut them and prep them and all that kind of stuff, because I don't know what I'm doing. Don't know what I'm doing. So, oh my goodness. All right. I did see somebody, was it Sister Chicks? From, gosh, where are they? Oregon? Is it Oregon or Washington? Don't they have rulers too? Didn't I see them with rulers? Welcome in, Rita. Laura says, Giovanna, I think Fallon has a new ruler with all the lines on it. I think it's a 6.5 by 24, but I'm not positive. It was designed to work with her slide lock. Oh, cool. Yeah, my thing is, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic invention, and I would love to own more of them. But I need all kinds of different sizes, and I can't afford to spend it. I don't know. Made myself a pressing mat with a shrunken wool sweater, and it works really well. Awesome, Giovanna. Tammy, contact Lorena Quilting. She has a YouTube channel and she has a capability of making rulers. Okay. I will send me that in an email if you don't mind, if you can. Sure you know what you're doing. Burning candy. Oh, you're so funny, Rita. I love it. She says, sure you know what you're doing. Burning candy corn. Yeah, guys, these do look like candy corns. Especially when we've got, got this direction with the yellow on bottom. I mean, both directions kind of look like candy corn. Both the yellow bottoms and the black bottoms both look like candy corns. Sedona candy corn. That's what we're going for. Oh. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. All right. My pressing mat's getting hot, guys. It's getting hot. It's hot, hot, hot. It's yellow because it's hot. Just kidding. It's not yellow because it's hot. It doesn't change color. But that's what I would tell my little one. I would have told him that it's yellow because it's hot. And he would have rolled his eyes at me. Oh, that child was smart. He would have rolled his eyes at me. Mom, are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. It's yellow because it's hot. I could say it's yellow because it's going to get hot. Laura says, Giovanna, a friend of mine, picked up a wool blanket and was using that as a pressing mat on her ironing board. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, it would be kind of like a sunflower. I wish I thought of that earlier. Yeah, so the hexagon laying, when I laid them out in a hexagon shape, it kind of did look like a sunflower. I just didn't have enough. I just did not have enough. Sylvia says it reminds her of candy corn. Rita says that her husband went to the store and told him, okay, I'm craving candy corn. So he had to hunt for a bag and he found some. Oh my God. And you're blaming it on me, aren't you? I know how this works. All my kids blame it on me. They blame me because they're wanting something. I know how it is. All right. We might actually have, there's always Mr. Seam. No. No. We do not have any misters in the sewing room, Giovanna. Good try. She says there's always Mr. Seam Ripper. No, we are not allowing Mr. into the sewing room today. He is banned. We are not playing with him. He decided he was no longer wanting to be friendly, so he is no longer the life of the party. And Rita is blaming it on me. Candy corn blamed on me. I see how it is. Oh my goodness. All right, so guys, while I am doing this, the April freebie project is going to be coming up very, very soon. I'm thinking it might be closer to the end of April, but I don't have a definite date yet. We have some conflicts with Easter and Palm Sunday, all of those kinds of holidays that people want to go to be with their family. So I don't want to take away from that. I'm not saying that everybody is going to be at those kinds of things, but I want to reserve the freebie for when a lot of people can be there. So we're going to see when I can get it going. The April freebie, you will need a lot of 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. You will need other pieces, but that is the hardest cutting to do. Teresa says that she's got candy corn too, especially if you leave them together. It would make a nice fall banner. Yes, it would. Giovanna says freebies? Yes, freebies. Yes, absolutely freebies, Giovanna. So the April freebie quilt pattern, you're going to need, if you want to sew along with me, you will be able to start sewing day 1. You will need 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch rectangles. And you will need 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares. The majority is your rectangles. You will need, the majority of what you need is the rectangles. Rita says 2.5 by 4.5. Okay, check and done. Yep, 2.5 by 4.5. And April's freebie is going to be a skill builder. So we are going to take our time and we are going to skill build with it. We're going towards Easter Teresa, right? Well, that's we can have candy corn at Easter. You know, the bunny's got to eat something other than chocolate. Chocolate makes him sick, so we can eat corn just because it's made out of candy. Rita says 2.5 by 2.5. Check and done. Awesome. I can't tell you're excited. Yeah, 2.5 by 2.5 is the overall size for the for squares, and then 2.5 by 4.5. Rita, are you trying to guess? She says, sounds like flying geese. Are you trying to guess what the project is? Is that what it is? I don't know if I want you guessing. Maybe I shouldn't give you any clues. Giovanna says she has a lot of fabric and a lot that she can snip to 2.5-inch strips. Yes, that would be the way to do it. So my 2.5 by 4.5, just as a clue, if you want to kind of match this up and do a controlled scrappy, because mine is going to be scrappy, but it's going to be controlled scrappy. The 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles are different colors. So I'm going to have all different kinds of colors in there, all different varieties. My 2.5 by 2.5-inch pieces are going to be from one fabric. Me? No. Says Rita. Yeah, so we're going to have, and I guess, all right, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of flying geese involved. But we need skill builders, right? We need to build some skills. So we're going to build some skill. We're going to build some skills. I can talk. Controlled scrappy? Yes, there is such a thing, Rita. Yes, absolutely. And you guys get to see controlled scrappy. All right, so my handle is now not attached completely. So we're going to readjust. And nope, it is not going to be log cabin. It is not log cabin. I do need to do a log cabin quilt, but I am thinking about pulling that off in September, or let's see, April, May, June. So June will be my next one, if we can do one in June. Then July, August, September, October. Okay, so either in October or August, I think will be our log cabin, because we are going to do a log cabin this year. There is a need for log cabin. And of course, I'm going to do it with a twist, so it's not going to be just a plain log cabin, because 2025 is the year of building skills. So log cabin is a very worthwhile block to do, and it is great for skill building as well. It is a much different skill set than the flying geese, so we're not combining them at the same time, I promise. So February's freebie was half square triangles. Lots of half square triangles, but it was also controlled scrappy. So if you did not catch, I believe that was February, wasn't it? Because we're doing the next one in April. Yeah. So February was controlled scrappy with half square triangles, and then April is also going to be controlled scrappy with flying geese. So your scraps need to be the 2.5 by 4.5. And if you want to do one fabric for all of your 2.5 by 2.5, you can. If you want to keep that scrappy as well, pick a color range for your 2.5 by 2.5, kind of like white on white, creams or something like that, and make sure all your 2.5 by 4.5 are contrasting to that. Rita says she was playing with fabric this morning and seeing how small she could go flying geese. 1.5 by 1.5 is as far as I ever want to go on those geese wings. Oh, goodness. Well, I can show you a few things that we could do, but we're not going to do. We're not going to do them. Not this time around. But we're gonna go over a lot of making flying geese repeatedly and having them all come out your correct size. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. Yeah, we want flying geese to come out right every time, and that can be incredibly difficult. So that's what our skill building for April is. But you will need a lot of 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles, and 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares. That's the size we're going to work with. That is the plan for right now, anyway. All right. I think I will get these trimmed and put them on the wall, and then we'll call it quits for today. I may go ahead and get that other set trimmed off camera just to get it out of my way for tonight. But yeah, we will get this going. Rita says she's playing with making 4 at a time. Completely shocked at how fast that went. Yes, 4 at a time does go fast. But the problem with 4 at a time or 8 at a time or whatever combinations you can come up with is that a lot of patterns are not written to support that cutting method. So for example, your pattern may, require, this size square for your main square, but you can't get that out of your fabrics, your kit. Is that going to be a quilt or only blocks? Which one? This right here? It's going to be a quilt. It's going to be a finished quilt. Now, our blocks that we're going to be making, we are going to make into a quilt in April. The April freebie pattern is going to be a quilt, I promise. Rita says she's got a cheat sheet. Yep. There's a lot of those out there too. And they're not bad to have. I'm not going to say that. But if you can't do 1 at a time, and the only way you can do is 4 at a time, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's a good thing to learn to be able to do all of it. I learned to half square triangles and make flying geese. Yes, absolutely. How many colors do we use in the 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles? As many as you like. As many as you like. So the pattern, I believe I wrote it for, don't quote me on this, guys. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not looking at it. But I want to say I wrote down 600 of the 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. And we're making like a throw size quilt. So it will come out to be a throw. That's going to be a lot of flying geese. So don't get me wrong. It's going to be a lot. And with that being said, doing the 2.5 by 4.5 inch finished flying geese, you're going to need quite a few to finish a quilt. Giovanna says she also has the rectangle or the cheat sheet as well. Yes. Yeah, I know. That's why I started warning people early, because I know it is a lot of rectangles. I know it's a lot of rectangles. It's a lot of flying geese. Because Giovanna's sitting here 600. Wow, right? It is a lot. It is a lot. But the layout, I think you guys are really going to like. It will be worth it in the end. Yeah, 1,200 of the 2.5 by 2.5. You're right. Most but not all. I like the scrappy you get from the 1 at a time. Yes, and that's the other thing. Is 1 at a time, you do have a lot more variety than when you do 4 at a time or 8 or 16 or whatever at a time. You really can get the variety. All right, let's bring you guys back over to this main screen. Main screen. There we go. In the end, how much fabric do you need? Oh, I didn't calculate that yet. Or it's, well, if I did, which I might have, it's not in front of me at the moment. We'll put it that way. Because I don't know. I don't know without going to pull it all. I don't know. All right, so these kind of look almost the same size. They're just a hair smaller than this row that's right underneath where I'm putting these. So yeah, we're just gonna keep going with the same overall layout. And we're gonna use setting triangles at the sides to reposition these however we want to. And to change it up a little bit and all of that. We're gonna see how far I can go because I can't reach that far. I got boxes in my way. I got my boxes of scraps on the floor in my way. All right. Oh, you guys can barely see this because this is way up there. I apologize. But these are big, like this row. They're not as small as these. Ooh, Tammy. Okay. Oh, Cynthia, you're so funny. She says, I don't have enough fingers to count that high. Neither do I. Oh my goodness. So all my scrap boxes that were up here, a lot of them were down here because I was in the process of pressing more scraps and cutting some down to get the scraps that I need. So yeah, they're missing. No climbing. Oh no. I'm not climbing. Not at all. I'm just reaching what I can reach from the floor. Okay, that's as far as I can go. I got 2 more triangles to put up there. So, what do you guys think? You guys liking this layout? If I put the yellow together, I get diamonds. Yeah, I know. But I would have to do it in the correct sizes because not each of these match in size. So every row has a different size triangle because it's a different size strip set. So yeah, they don't match. They don't match at all. Let's see. So Cynthia, when I start cutting the triangle or cutting the flying geese parts, I'm counting it in stacks of 10 or stacks of 20. That way I can eventually count up to, so 5 stacks of 20 is 100. So I need 30 stacks of the 2.5 by 4.5. When it comes to cutting the 2.5 by 2.5, I'm going to be cutting that from yardage because I want the same fabric throughout. So I will sit there and cut a strip, see how many I can cut from that strip, and see how many strips I got to cut total. So that's how I'm going to do it. I like candy corn, not diamonds. So Sylvia, I love it. I love it. So yeah, this is, I guess we're going to call it Sedona Sunrise or Sedona Sunset, or I don't know. We'll call it something. I don't know. Bye, Gladys. Thank you for being here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and get off of here, guys. We've been going for 2 hours. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go put my feet back up for a bit, get some lunch, and just relax a little bit. And I get ready to go for tonight, for a couple of hours tonight. I will probably leave, I don't know, I might leave this one up on the wall for tonight. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But tonight I'm going to be working on the 365 quilt. And then tomorrow I may do another pop-up and we'll work some more on this. So you guys can see this come together. Giovanna says she's going to go watch Ian now. Absolutely. Go watch Ian. Go support him as well. Y'all have a great afternoon. Thank you for coming to hang out with me for a little bit. And I will